Welcome to GetXAML. In this video, we'll understand the basics and overview of the relational database model. So it is one of the most widely implemented model in the real world. So we call it as RDBMS. This is what we're going to study in your syllabus. Relational database management systems. So it is based on the mathematical relations, based on the concept of set theory. So what is this relational model? Let us try to understand and how it is created. Just like your ER diagram is one of the model. Relational model is practically implemented model in the real world. This is a conceptual model. So what are the core components of relational model? It's basically the collection of tables composed of multiple tables. We'll come to the tables, how to create and all later. Each with unique identifier. You create a table. Table means you have a set of rows and columns, and then you'll give a name to that table. So in mathematical terms, these tables we call it as relations. Each table we call it as one relation. That's why the name relational model. So information is organized as a set of related values within rows and columns. So this is one of the powerful model, and it is why it is so powerful is it is very straightforward, because we're going to create a structured tables and then enforce some constraints to maintain the integrity. So how we can imagine is, so we have already understood the ER diagram. Let's say that there is a student entity set. Let us say student has USN, his university number, which is primary key. So let us say he has name, and say he has his say CGPA marks. So this is an ER diagram for entity set. So there are many students, so student instances or student entities. So let us say student 1. So I will say 101. His name is say Anil 9.4. So student entity 2, okay, for instance 2, 102, okay, Kevin 9.6, like this. So when it is, how you can visualize this in your relational model is as the table, okay, which has rows and columns. So to convert this, we'll create rows and columns with the attributes. So these are the attributes. They become the column names in my relational model or table. So USN, the primary key. So this is the column, and then you have name as another attribute. This becomes another column, and then CGPA. This becomes another column. So what are the values now? All these entities or instances here, what we studied in ER diagram, becomes each row. So here I'll store 101. Neil 9.4. Then the second row will have the second instance of the entity, Kevin 9.6. So the student is the relation name or the table name. So relation is also called as a table in RDBMS. So that is the overall picture of relational model. Now we'll see some terminologies. So each row, whatever you created, right? So same student and student table. So I have the columns USN, name, and CGPA. I give this relation name as student. I have say rows 101, 102, some names. Okay. Now each row, so this is the row containing the data of that particular student. One student, one row. Okay. So this we call it as n tuple. Okay. Each row is also called as n tuple, or in generally they just say tuple. What is n tuple? A sequence of n values representing a relationship between data points. Okay, these are the different data points. If you assume 101, x and 9.1 for student 1. So n tuple means here it is 3 values, n equal to 3 here for this example, n equal to 3. So this entire one row is the n tuple or 3 tuple in this case. So in general just say row or tuple. So each row is one tuple. You can imagine like that. So formal representation of single record. So we call this also as the record, one record. So don't get confused when I use the terms. All means the same. When I say one record in relational model, it is one row or tuple or n tuple. Since a table is a mathematical set of tuples, the physical sequence of rows is irrelevant. So what they are saying is how they are stored. Whether 102, the student 2 information comes first or student 1 information comes first is irrelevant. Just like your set theory concept. So if I have a set, say containing elements A, B, C is set 1. If I contain set 2, which says C, A, B, if the elements are same, the order doesn't matter. Both are same. So same thing applies here as well as in your relational model in tables. So database system does not guarantee row orders. So in which order they appear in your results or in tables is not guaranteed by database system unless you explicitly sort command is used. So in SQL you will see how to sort these tables. That is the mathematical understanding of your relational model. It is just the concept of sets and relations. Like your degree and cardinality was studied in ER diagrams, here also you have degree and cardinality. So simple here, degree represents total number of attributes or columns in a relationship. For example, in this previous, degree is 3. So number of attributes, USN, name and CGP, there are 3 attributes. So degree of the student table is 3. So it indicates the number of columns or attributes. Cardinality, it represents the total number of tuples or rows currently stored. Okay, so don't get confused with ER diagram. Cardinality, it is also actually same, but they are in the relationship. So here there is no relationship. You just count the number of rows in the your table. So that gives you the cardinality. For example, here there are 2 rows at this point of time. So cardinality is 2 for this relational instance. Now we come to the important point, that is attribute domains, atomicity and null values, how they are treated. So what is this attribute domains? The domain means what are the permitted values. Okay, so for example, let's take an example. They have an employee relation. Employee, let us say, has employee ID is the primary key. In relational model, you are just underline the primary key. Then you have name. Let us say he has age, the employee, and then you have the salary. These are the attributes. These are my attributes. Then you have the values stored as the tuples or rows. Now, what is this domain? Domain means what are the possible values each of these attributes can take. So attribute domain means what are the possible values I can store for that particular attribute. For example, say that employee ID. If I give this domain as say integer, okay, right? Give this as integer. Then if I want to store a string like XYZ, that is wrong. So that is not doesn't belong to that domain. The domain of this employee ID is integer only. So you have to insert the integer. Similarly, for example, salary. Salary domain is a non-negative number. So salary cannot be negative, right? So salary should be positive. So that is a domain. So it can, what exactly it is? Permitted values. For every attribute, the domain defines a set of allowed or legal values. Why it is required? This ensures that the data stored in specific column remains consistent and logical. Okay? So for example, logical means what? If I have employee ID should look like numbers, right? Integers, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. But if I store say XYZ, that is not logically correct or semantically correct. So to enforce such constraints, we have the attribute domains. So for example, again age. Age might be defined as an integer between 0 and 120. That is the restriction of putting. You cannot say store A, B, C, something like here. That is not allowed. So this indicates the attribute domains. So domains are set. Then what is atomic values? The atomicity in transaction is a different concept. Atomicity here means what? In the ER diagram, you have seen 2 types of attributes we are interested in now. Composite and multi-valued. You know already the concept of these 2. Composite means it can be further split into simple attributes. For example, address. Address can have street number, house number, pin code, city, and all those things. So though they are composite attributes are indivisible. They can be divided into simple attributes. Similarly, multi-valued attributes are the one where it can take multiple values. That is, for example, phone numbers. Now, this is not allowed in your relational database model. Okay. So the fundamental principle of relation model is the requirement of atomicity. What is atomicity? Domains must be atomic, meaning elements are treated as indivisible units. So I cannot store address just like that. I cannot just say store first name, last name in one column. So there should be atomic means indivisible. Further, they cannot be divided. For example, employee ID. Employee ID cannot be further divided, right? So it's a atomic. Okay, so simple attributes are atomic. Example, a phone number. So phone number has area code and the number. So if I treat everything as 1, then it is a single attribute. So it is a single string, for example. So it is atomic. Suppose the same thing if I split it as area code, as separate and the number as separate, then it becomes divisible. I can split that further. It becomes a composite attribute. Hence, it is not allowed. Data containing subparts are set of values. Example, storing a list of 3 phone numbers is in one field. So I cannot store 3 phone numbers or more than one phone number in a single phone number field in the column. So that is not possible. So that is the concept of atomic domains. Domains means the attributes cannot be further divided. What is the case of null values? See, null values plays very important role in database management systems. They usually complicate operations like arithmetic and joins and should be minimized to the robust schema design. Why the null values? Why the null values create the problem? Okay. So the null values meaning, let us understand or understood in the ER diagrams. If there are unknown case or inapplicable case, okay, the value exists in the real world. Example, a student has a phone number but is not currently recorded in the system. Okay, so that is an unknown case. For that, for time being, we don't know his phone number. Maybe he may be having a phone number, but we don't know. So we'll put null in the that column. Okay, attribute for that particular student row. In applicable case, the value does not exist for that specific tuple. For example, a student doesn't own a phone. If he doesn't have a phone, he doesn't have a phone number. So then means what? I cannot do anything. So I have to put null for that student row in that column, phone number column. Now, which is very important part, mathematical distinction. See, in SQL, this will be very important to understand this. Null is not same as 0. Okay, null doesn't mean it is 0. Null is not equal to 0. Okay, or it is not equal to empty string. Okay, empty string. It represents the absence of values. Okay, it represents the absence of value. Null is null. Okay. Now we'll understand the instance and the schema. So what is the database schema? The formal logical design or structural blueprint, we call it as the schema. For example, I have my database schema and I have multiple tables. Okay, multiple tables. Say table 1, then I have the table 2. So all these, there can be any number of tables. There can be any number of tables. Table n. So and they may be interrelated. Okay, they are logically structured and interrelated. They may be related to one to another. They are defined once during the design phase. So this entire database, we call it as a schema for your application. Okay, so this is a schema. What is the database instance? A snapshot of the actual data at specific moment in time. So some data will be stored in all these tables, right? In the database. So at time t, at any point, at time t, whatever data is stored in your schema, we call it as a database instance. At that point of time, what is data stored? We call it as a instance or a snapshot. It changes frequently as data is inserted, updated, or deleted. So the schema will rarely change. See, when you design your database, you follow some rules and then you design your database. So there is hardly scope for changing the database. Sometimes you may change, but it's very rare. But data always you will be trying to insert, delete, or modify whatever you do. So always this database instance will be changing. So at that point of time, whatever data is stored in the database, call it as database instance. Now another concept is linking data in relational design. See, when I created the tables or relations, see, the tables are also called as relations. So they are linked. Okay? You cannot have independent tables and then for database design, all the tables will be linked to gain the information. Let us see those examples. So let us say there is an instructor schema, department schema, section schema. So this instructor schema stores faculty details. That is instructor. So instructor schema here is an instructor table. You can imagine like that. So it has ID, name, department name, and salary. Then you have a department schema, department table where you have department name, building, and budget. If you observe here, the instructor has to belong to a particular department. So the department name is linked. Okay, so department name from here it is linked to instructor. So that is the overlapping of the attributes, the schema connection, or they are bridging the relationship. So entire this complete picture, if you see, there are multiple tables, all are linked like this. So there are some overlapping attribute, or there are some attributes which you require the relationship between them. So all connected together forms the relational web. For example, university. So university, example if you take, there are multiple schemas or tables in that. So for example, instructor, department, section, okay, office records, accounts, and all those things. All those are interconnected, and the student is also entity in that or a table in that. So all are related. So that becomes a complete relational web. So relational model web. So for example, the section schema stores specific course offering. If you observe here, course ID, section ID, semester, year, building, and room. See, all these are coming from the different tables. Course ID is coming from the course table. Section ID is coming from the building table or the department table. Semester from the student, which year, and then which building coming from the department. Room number again coming from the the location. All those things are interrelated to form the logical relational web. For example, your university, or for example, a company employee database. So in the next video, I'll understand the different types of keys, which is very important for relational database design. Thank you for watching. Please like,